morning. Um, Today we're gonna create the test database for our in MySQL for our website class. So let me go over to my Visual Studio. I have created a folder called PHP. On this folder, I'm gonna create a file, SQL file. I'm gonna name it testdb.sql. This one I am going to let's save it in the same folder right here. So create file. All right. So creating a table. After creating an empty database and understanding different data types, you can now add tables to your database to hold data. Tables are created using the create table DDL syntax, which will look something like follows. So create table and the table name. We're going to call it testdb. Then within parentheses, we're gonna define the column name 1 followed by the data type, then the column name 2 followed by the data type, so on and so forth. Now this right here is just kind of like a template. This is not exactly what we're going to type. This is just how the syntax looks. Okay, so let's add a table named contacts to the test database, the test database. So this table's name is going to be contact. And the fields that it's going to have will be the ID. Data type for the ID will be integer. So we type int. The next column is going to hold the name. So name. Data type for the name will be varchar. And let's set it for 50 characters. The third column will be email. This will also contain will be a varchar and with 100 characters, followed by a column that will contain the age. This will be an integer that contains 3 characters. And finally, message varchar, and this will contain up to 2,000 characters. Okay. Let me save this. Now I'm going to open up my my database. Let's do it through the terminal. So down here on the terminal, sudo mysql. So now here on this is on a local database. I don't So create database called testdb, and let's do lowercase testdb, and let's put a proper case. Create database. So I'm going to paste that into my terminal. All right. So it looks like it's been created. So let's show databases. And sure enough, there's my test database right there. All right. So use testdb. So now we have selected the test database. All right. So now let's go ahead and enter our SQL commands to create the contact table. Allow paste. So show tables. Sure enough, there is my contact table created. Okay. Now let me open up the PHP my admin. So give me a second here. There we go. Okay. So now I'm in PHP my admin. However, PHP my admin cannot see uh, the table, the database, because the account that I'm using does not have the permissions. So let's go ahead and fix that. Since I am logged in with the PHP my admin account, I need to grant all privileges on testdb to PHP my admin at localhost. Alright, so let's go back to PHP my admin and refresh the page. There's our testdb. And inside the testdb, we can see that the contact table exists. Alright, so we're good to go so far. Alright, so before running any SQL statements, you must first select the testdb database by clicking its name on the left pane tree to avoid errors. Alright, so by clicking here, I've already selected the test database. Just like through the terminal, to do the same thing on the terminal, we use the select, I'm sorry, not select, the use name of the database, testdb. Okay. So if we wanted to create a table within this interface, we would essentially type in the same command. So I'm going to copy and paste the commands from my script, and I'm just going to paste them in here. And I'm going to call this one contact 2. Now this is just for demonstrative purposes. I hit go, and sure enough, the contact 2 table has been created. Okay, so I can expand the columns. If I click on columns, I can expand the columns, and I can see what kind of data it stores. Right? We have the column name, the type of data that it stores, so on and so forth. Okay, so to add data into our table, we will use the insert into statement. Right, so I'm going to select the contact table, go to the SQL tab, and in here I will enter. So adding data. The insert into statement is used to insert new records in a table. This statement has the following two forms. So first form is insert into, then we have the table name, values, and then value 1, comma, value 2, comma, value 3, comma, so on and so forth. So that's one way. Use the syntax. You can use the syntax without mentioning column names if you want to populate all columns in a table with some data. If you wish to add values to specific columns in a table, then use the following syntax specifying column names. In this example, you skip column 2 and column 4 and enter values into 1, 3, and 5. Right, the way that would look, it would look something like this. So, insert into table name, column 1, column 3, column 5, so on and so forth. Values, value 1, value 2, and value 3 ad nauseam. Alright, so that's just the syntax of how it would look. Let's go ahead and enter some data into our contact table. So I'm going to delete this. Type the following two insert statements into the SQL pane and hit go to add two records to the contact table. These statements will populate all table columns with relevant information. Alright, so insert into contact, values 1, sad, and then his email, sad@abc.com, 30, feedback message. Right, I'm going to copy that, paste it 2 times, use that to take it. So the second record, Daniel@gmail.com. 25. This is a comment. Finally, the third value for third contact, we're going to enter the ID, email, and message only. So the ID is 3. The email is, I'm sorry, the value, the ID is 99. The email will be abc@abc.com. And for the message, we will enter this is a message. All right, so let's hit go. Let me just double check because there might be an error somewhere. There's a mistake there, but that's not the mistake I'm looking for. Let's see. Insert into contact values. Everything looks fine to me. Let's go ahead and run it. Harm doesn't match value count at row 1. So according to this, what am I missing? Okay, so we got 1, sad, then the email, 30, message feedback. Let's open that in a new tab. Oh, 2 of them were entered. Sad and Daniel Clark. Oh, I see. I see. It's the third one where the problem is. Yes. So this 30 needs to be removed. ID, email, message. Insert into contact ID, email, message. All right, there we go. Sure enough, that worked. All right, so now let's add another record by using the second syntax. We already did that. Okay, querying data. contact table. To query this data, you will use the select statement. Its syntax is as follows. Select, then we enter the column name or names, from table name. So in short, that's what the syntax should look like. All right. So let's type the following statement into the SQL pane and hit go to retrieve all rows from the contacts table. So let's select ID, name, age, message from the contact table. Okay, go. And there we go. We just ran a query. So to select all columns at once, you can use the asterisk character instead of individual column names. Let's go ahead and do that. So select everything from contact. We hit go, and we get all the results, all of the data from the contact table. This statement will provide the same output as shown in the above figure. All right. Use the where clause to get only those records that satisfy a specified criterion. The syntax for that will be, we're going to use the asterisk again. So select everything from contact where name equals sad. Okay, go and turn off. This statement fetches only one record, the one having value sad in the column name. You can use the following operator in the where clause. Okay. Updating data. We inserted record number 99 with some missing values that we wish to populate now. The process of updating existing records in a table is accomplished through the update statement, whose syntax is, and let's go back to our SQL. So the syntax to update data will be update table name, then set column 1 is equal to and value, column 2 is equal to value 2, so on and so forth. So for every column that we need to enter a value, we would specify the column name as well as the value that is going to go into the column, right? But we're not done yet because we still need to specify where some column is equal to some value. What this last bit will do is it will select only the records that have the whatever value we're specifying. So we're going to say where's the whatever column. Let me expand the context just to give you an example. So we would say update contact, set the column value for age, for example, and we can make that equal to 100 or 250. Right? So that's the column name, and we're making that column's value equal to 50. All right, but we're not done. We then have to use the where clause to then say where the ID column, right, because we're looking for specific records, the ID column is equal to, and in this case, the ID would be 99, right? So that would be, the sum column would be the ID column, the sum value would be 99. So wherever the ID is equal to 99, that's where we want to enter. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and actually populate that. Update contact, set name, name is equal to ABC. The column 2 is the age will be equal to 99, and the where is where ID is equal to 99. Okay. Let's see. Errors were found during analysis unexpected token near that at position 38. Ah, I see. I have an extra. There we go. And that works. So let's go ahead and do a query. Select everything from contact. And sure enough, we're able to see that the ID 499 now has the name of ABC, and the age is now 99. All right, give me a second here, and let me see if I can make that window a little bit bigger. Okay, my audio is back. There we go, my camera is back. All right. Now let me enlarge. Hey, there we go. Now we can see that a little better. Okay. Let me make my video smaller. There you go. How's that? Better? Better. I think that's better. So, moving on. Okay, so warning. It is important to use the where clause, which is used to set conditions for updating table records. While updating table records, the where clause states with records are being, the far? Good. The work clause states which records are to be updated. If you omit the work clause, all records will be updated. Let me repeat that. If you omit the work clause, all records will be updated. So be very careful with that. Right. So next, let's look at removing data. In this exercise, you will remove record number 99 from the table using the delete statement. The syntax for the delete statement is, and let me go back to the browser. Alright. So the syntax will be delete from, then we have our table name, where some column equals some value, right? That is the syntax. Delete from table name all right. So click the testdb database in the tree pane on your left to select this database. All right. So I'm selecting the test database. All right. Let's go into the SQL. Type any of the following statements in the SQL tab commands interface and hit go to remove records 99. When prompted, click OK in the confirmation box. So delete from contact where ID is 99. Now remember, this will delete the record where the ID is 99, the last one that we entered. Alternatively, you can use a string condition in the work clause as so, as follows. Delete from contact where name equals ABC. Either one will work. In this instance, we're going to use the first one. Alright, so according to this, the record has been deleted. Let's double check. Let's go to the contacts table. Sure enough, that record no longer exists. Database and SQL are huge topics that require dedicated books. In this section, I merely scratched the surface to give you some basic knowledge about database and how to interact with it using SQL. You will need this information in the last part of the book, where you will create a database to store data received from your website's visitors. The next section, which discusses PHP, will tell you how to connect to your database and enter users' feedback in the table. Alright, so I will see you in